right, good evening. Welcome back. A little bit of time with this video. I apologize. However, I was just recently dealing with some MS issues, which slowed me down. So, again, I apologize for that. But tonight, what I would like to talk about is grief, the grieving process, how that ties into our lives, how that might tie into our addiction and into our recovery as well. Uh, when we look, I'm going to give an example. So we get the phone call, Uncle Tommy passed away, or Uncle Tommy's dead. Um, and we get no, not Uncle Tommy. We start denying. There's denial that there is even loss there. Just too, I can't handle that. No, he can't be. So I begin with denial, and after denial, then most likely what's going to come for me is some anger. What do you mean he's dead? Well, I start blaming doctors or God or whoever might have caused an accident. And I start getting angry and letting that out. And then once I get through that anger and start processing what has happened or what I'm going through, then come the sadness and the tears, and I can cry some of that loss away, for Uncle Tommy and all the loss and everybody who's affected by it, and get all those those hurt feelings out. And as I progress through that, then the next part will come acceptance. So went from denial, no, it can't be, to who did it, to how sad it is, and to that acceptance is nice. Yeah, this is going to be life without Uncle Tommy. We'll do all right. We're so grateful we had our times together. And then once we get to that acceptance, and I know for me, I had to work on the forgiveness, start forgiving whoever I might have had a resentment towards or wanted to blame, and, let that out as well. The forgiveness, start in that process. However, this is not a linear check the boxes off process. It's just parts of that grieving spectrum, if we want to call it that. And I can bounce back and forth at any time. So, maybe we've gone through it all and we're feeling all right. And now here come the holidays. All of a sudden now I'm feeling sad. I might even get a little angry because Uncle Tommy's not going to be here and we're not going to have the delicious turkey he always used to make, or whatever it was in our lives. And so we get back maybe again to a little anger, or to that sadness, and we got to process that, and then back to the acceptance and the forgiveness again. So we could be bouncing back and forth in this for a while, until whatever it takes, but just awareness of what we're experiencing, and work through that as we are. So that's kind of the progression of it. And so I want to look at loss, or grieving, other things. Let's look at our addictions, right? Often we hear, oh, I hate that, and this, it's evil and all that. At one point, the alcohol, the joint, the line, the pill, whatever, worked out great. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful friend of ours, man. Let me get up and out and be social and whatnot. Worked real well for me in the beginning, and that little boy, or that part of me, that ego part of me, that self in me, is still wanting to go back and try to convince me how wonderful of a friend Jack Daniels was, and why can't we hang out with him for a little while? And no, we can't. He's gone. He's got to be gone in my life. I don't. I can't hang on to those friendships any longer. He's no longer, but he was. So we have to grieve the loss of our addiction. I don't get to go hang out and just have a couple of beers at the ball game. I know I can't do that, because a couple of beers ain't going to be enough. I'm going to need more. And so I don't get to do that. That was a big part of the social life that we had with alcohol. So again, I could first deny that it's not a problem. Then I get angry at it, alcohol, and then how sad that I don't get to and everybody else does. But again, what other people do is none of my business. I have to work on me, and so then I can get to the acceptance. Yeah, all right. Well, I've got some experience. I've got some evidence that life can still be good without hanging out with my dear old friend Jack Daniels. I it is okay, and I can accept that, and I work on forgiving myself for you know allowing that ego and self to take over and stay stand against it. And so we do grieve our addiction. So we can grieve the loss of people in our lives. We can grieve the loss of things in our lives. They were our stuff. And we can also grieve the relationships. The loss of relationships is very hard. Going through a divorce, we're going to experience the same thing, that loss of that relationship or that marriage. And often I've found too, um, part of that is grieving the loss of the dream as well. We're going to live happily ever after. We're going to grow up, the kids are going to move on, whatever it might have been, whatever stories we're telling ourselves. So it's have to be grieved as well, and let them go and get to that point of acceptance on there. And the reason we want to get to that acceptance, at least for me, is so that I can find some peace in myself. Like, okay, this is life on life's terms. This stuff happens, and I'm okay with it. And know I can get through that. The other thing that is part, I think, of that grieving process for me was the loss of childhood. Right? We had grew up in a dysfunctional family with alcohol in it, and I want to remind, not beating up families. There's lots of good in my family, but there was that dysfunction in there, and because of that dysfunction, you had to grow up pretty quick, and so you didn't really get to be a kid. You were on your own and surviving at times, and so that loss. Wow, I don't get to be I didn't get to do that, or I wish I would have done that, and those things are grieved as well. And I think that kind of brings me to where I'm at right now. Um, I'm beginning to realize with my MS and going into retirement now, not working anymore, and the progression of my disease, that well, I may have to grieve my adult life too, not just my childhood, but the dreams of retirement and what's going to go on that. A lot of those are out the window for me. Not to say I will work or I will practice continuing to look for my path and uh, work through any anger and sadness that's with that. And I do recognize within myself I'm always looking for somebody to blame for that, and there is none, and it just is what it is at this point. Another thing I want to mention with the grieving process, or in this little discussion, is the pity pot. That I was very good at. Oh, poor me, and that's different. That's different than the grieving process. I think we all sit on our pity pots, and I know I got a pretty good sized one if I want to pull it out and sit on it, but that doesn't bring me any progress in my life or in my healing. But it's easy to wake up, and before we're conscious of where we are again, to sit on that little pity pot. Oh, poor me! I don't get to do this. I don't get to do that. Well, there's still other things to do, and I think this is one of them. So I hope that had some value for you, some worth for you. Thanks for listening to me again. This helps me work through some of my stuff, as well as maybe um, pass along, might help somebody else out. And so with that, I thank you. And I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Hit like and subscribe. Quickly, just want to add one thing I had been thinking about that I would present. Excuse me, during this talk on grief, and that forgiveness part of it, and I want to pass along what what I call the forgiveness prayer was passed along to me, and it's something that I used to work towards, to be able to forgive. And you can fill in the name of whoever it is that whether you're holding a resentment towards, or hurt about, or whatever it might be. Who do you need to forgive? And so you just fill in their name, and I'm going to use my name because not only did I say the forgiveness prayer for all those people in my lives, I said it for myself as well. And so this is how it goes. And so Richard, I fully and freely forgive you for all wrongs, both real and imagined. I lose you and I let you go to your highest good. Thank you, God, for giving Richard all the good in his life that I desire in mine. All right, thank you. So I hope maybe that works for you as well. Give it a shot. Again, like, subscribe.